2 days had passed. 2 days since we left the harbor of my home village and island. We arrived at our first stop on our way to the mysterious island the captain had mentioned. It was a small island just past a beautiful coral reef. How I wish I could dive in and see all the marine life as they swim in and out of all the beautiful coral they call home. But we are on a journey, and we have no time for silly nonsense like that. The village on the island was small, much smaller than my hometown. A few shops and homes with a small harbor. We left our ship anchored in the bay and took a few rowboats to the docks. While the majority of the crew stayed behind on the ship, the captain, first mate, myself, and 3 other crew members went ashore. Our only reason here is to restock a few supplies before the next stop. The captain veered off to go find some maps for our navigator so we may plan the route ahead. The rest of us wandered around in search of supplies and necessities while gathering information about the waters ahead of us. No one here had ever heard of the island we were sailing to, but the villagers wished us the best of luck and bid us farewell. The few members I had come with, first mate, as well as myself, were sitting and conversing on the dock whilst waiting for the captain to return. I overheard the first mate say, depending on the route we take, we may have 2 more stops ahead instead of 1. It didn't matter to me. The sooner we get the treasure, the sooner I can return home to my loving wife and children, where we will live out the rest of my days together. At least, that's what I wanted most. But I am a sailor, and a sailor's life is to the sea. The captain had yet to return, so I began to walk around the village searching for him. I was feeling restless just sitting at the dock anyways. I talked amongst the locals, learning about their daily lives, this island's history. As it turns out, for being such a small island village, it was somewhat a popular stop for seafarers all around the world. It laid in the middle of a trade route that isn't used very often. All of them that have come through have always been greeted with heartwarming welcomes and tearful fond farewells. Truly a peaceful little village. Maybe one day I could move my family here. But sadly, I would never get that chance. As I continued to walk through the streets, I finally found the captain outside the bakery. He was carrying bread and pastries with a big smile on his face. Treats for the crew for our last journey together, he would tell me as we proceeded together side by side back to the docks. He would laugh and chortle as he proudly exclaimed to me and the heavens above how proud of his crew he was. That was my captain, a man who saw the best in everyone and showed genuine gratitude for all they did. A true man among men, but like us, his foolish crew, he was a true sailor, and a sailor's life is to the sea. We loaded up the few boats we came in and began to row the ship to the ship. The crew tossed down the ladder and we began our ascent aboard while the rowboats were pulled back up to the deck. The crew had been cleaning the ship while we were gone, and I must say, she was truly majestic that day. Her deck shining from the sun, ropes and sails swaying in the breeze, the creaking of the wood as the vessel gently rocked in the waves. We raised anchor and set back out to sea. I was called into the captain's quarters shortly after departure to discuss the route we would take with the first mate, the navigator, and of course, our captain. We all sat at the table as the captain rolled out the new maps he had just purchased. I listened to them discuss the route amongst themselves as I studied each map carefully. Each one laid out in a line, ending with what would be our final destination, the island shrouded in mist. The captain stabbed a short dagger into the final map, declaring that's where the island waited. There was nothing drawn beneath the shining blade, but when you're looking for lost treasure on a mysterious island, then that's to be expected. I leaned back into my chair, contemplating as we discussed our next stop. It would be a few days until we'd arrive, which would give us plenty of time to resupply and prepare for the next leg of our journey. As we all stood up and prepared to leave, a cold chill slithered its way down my spine. I quickly turned and looked at the dagger's tip and the map the captain had stabbed. My stomach began to toss and turn as I thought about the treasure hoard that awaited us, but I shrugged it off. and went back to the deck. I should have pleaded to turn around. I should have told our captain about my uneasy feeling. But we are sailors, and the sailor's life is to the sea.